guys, Susie here, and I am here to give you a recipe today for chicken fettuccine Alfredo. And it is pretty stinking fantastic. It doesn't use any pasta. It has about 10 carbs in it, which is absolutely nothing, as opposed to usually getting about 75 grams of carbohydrates. And a meal fettuccine has about 30 grams of protein, or just depending on how much chicken you use, barely any fat at all. So it's pretty fantastic, so I wanted to share it with you. So I've already got my chicken on the stove, just because that doesn't really take any brain work. You guys know how to grill chicken, hopefully. You cut it up, you cut the fat off if there is any fat, you season it with what you want. I always use garlic powder, garlic pepper. I'm a fan of garlic. I like the really strong stuff, so I tend to go for cumin, those kind of things, but not for Alfredo. You would want to keep it more to like basil, oregano, those Italian seasonings. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I will show you what we're using first. So here are the ingredients for the Alfredo. So I have unsweetened almond milk. So I've got that there. And I have low-fat cottage cheese, not fat-free. Don't use fat-free. They put sugar in it to add flavor, so we use the reduced fat. I have garlic powder. I have a little bit of steak seasoning, and I know that sounds crazy, but I have the steak seasoning because I like the peppery flavor that it gives. I have garlic pepper as well. I have some broccoli that I already had done, and so I want to use that. And reduced fat Parmesan cheese. And so those are going to be our sauce ingredients. Okay, so that's the sauce there. And what we use as our noodles, broccoli slaw, best stuff ever. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up this wonderful bag, and you can eyeball it or you can measure it out. I like to eyeball it. I'm going to use about half the package, which ends up being about 35 to 45 calories. So I'm going to use that. And then also on water, you want to put in about 1/4 of a cup of water, but it doesn't really matter. You can eyeball that as well. I set it on a medium heat. Okay, so you don't want it to be too hot, but you want to have it, about medium. That way it doesn't scorch it or get it too done. And then I season it with garlic powder. Then I like to go ahead and put the lid on and just kind of let the steam start to cook it. Now on the chicken's almost done, so you can put whatever seasonings you want on the chicken. It's totally optional, whatever you want to do. I put garlic powder on mine, and then I also put a little bit of steak seasoning on it. And yes, that's crazy, but it tastes good, so do what you like. So that's what I'm doing because I like that. So I'm going to go ahead and set that to the side. Now, while our noodles are cooking up, what we're going to do is we're going to make this Alfredo sauce, which is absolutely wonderful. I just use a mug. You can use whatever you want. You can use just a microwave safe dish. It's totally up to you as far as what you want to do on the container for it. So we're going to start with a Laughing Cow cream cheese, or it's not cream cheese, it's creamy Swiss cheese. And you use 1 wedge. And if you've never tried Laughing Cow, now is the time to start. It is so creamy, it is so good, it melts wonderfully. So we're going to use that. So 1 Laughing Cow. Then you're going to use 2 tablespoons of cottage cheese. Okay, and the cottage cheese, some people aren't a fan of that consistency that it has, just because it is a little bit, chunky or whatever you want to call it. But once it heats up, you can mash it pretty well, and you can get rid of those little lumps. And we're going to use 2 tablespoons of reduced fat Parmesan cheese. So go ahead and add all those together. And on the almond milk, I like to eyeball it. It's going to be about 1/4 of a cup though. So you're going to mix all those together, and the reason that we use the cottage cheese isn't just for the creaminess of it. That little bit of fat, it's 2% fat, so if you're using 2 tablespoons, it'll have about, you know, 1 gram of fat or so. But just that 1 little gram of fat really helps to give it like that buttery texture. So instead of using oils and fats and all of those things, we use cottage cheese, and that tiny bit of fat, which is like almost non-existent, it really helps. So once you have all that mixed together and you kind of just mash it, you know, against the side of the mug to get those little lumps out, especially when it comes to the cottage cheese, you're going to go ahead and put it in the microwave for about 30 seconds. So while that's going on, we'll go ahead and check on our noodles. They're looking fantastic. They're smelling even better, and I'm so hungry that I could eat a horse. So this is going to be wonderful. So I'm going to add a little bit more water to it. That way they're not too dry, too dehydrated. And then I'm just going to put that back on. After 30 seconds, go ahead and take it out of the microwave, and now that cheese is all melting together. So just go ahead and mash it really well, getting those little lumps out, especially if you're a texture person. Also, if you wanted to, you could always use a blender, you know, or a Ninja. If you don't have a Ninja, go buy one now. It's a little bit of a splurge, but it's worth every penny, I promise. So then we're going to just go ahead and put that back in the microwave for another 30 seconds. So our pasta is almost complete. Looks wonderful. I'm super excited about this. I love this recipe so much I actually ate it yesterday 2 times. Yeah, so it's that good. So now I'm just going to go ahead and keep the lid off so that way it can cook all the way and it'll get all the moisture off of them. So now your sauce is pretty much complete. You can go back through one more time if you want to, and just make sure that you've got, you know, the little lumps out. Now I'm going to add broccoli to this and put that in with my sauce, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. It's totally optional. Yesterday I didn't have it with broccoli, but today I wanted broccoli in it. So I'm just going to mix that all together in my little mug and also spill it all over the counter because I'm cool like that. Just kind of mixing it up. Yummy! Okay, so my sauce is ready. And now my noodles are ready. You just have to kind of play it by ear and just see, you know, how fast your noodles are cooking. Fill the whole plate up. I'm going to go ahead and put my chicken on top. Used about 3 ounces of chicken. And now I'm going to cover it with the Alfredo sauce and the broccoli. And my friends, the Alfredo is done, and this is going to taste stinking fantastic. Check it out. Yes, that is a huge portion, and it's all for under 300 calories, and it's got about 30 grams of protein, about 10 carbs, maybe a little bit more because I added the broccoli, so it may be closer to 15 carbs, something like that. But it's absolutely wonderful, and I'm starving, so I'm going to eat it. So I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Try this. I promise you'll love it, especially if you're a carb lover, or you don't actually eat carbs, you don't eat pasta and things like that, and you would love to have some like me. I haven't had pasta in forever, so when I created this and I got the feeling of pasta, it made me so happy I kind of wanted to cry. So have a great weekend, and I will see y'all later. Bye.